Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Warren County Fiscal Court, Tuesday, November 12th, 2024, 9 a.m. Our meeting is now called to order, and we're going to start off with we do have a start off with an invocation from Pastor Brian Gilbreth from New Vision Community Church, and then after that we'll have a pledge to the flag led by Esquire Scott Lastly.
Unless you want to do it from there.
No.
Good morning. Thank you. If y'all would bow your heads and let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father God, we thank you for this day, and God, we thank you for the so many blessings of the country that we live in. God, I thank you that I live in a county who still wants to recognize and honor and involve you in their decisions. So God, today I pray you lead, guide, and direct the footsteps that are here today. God, I pray that we all, everybody in this place, keep in mind is what's best for us in this community. God, we pray you continue to bless our country. God, lead, guide, and direct President-elect Trump's footsteps as he goes forward. And Lord, just I pray that we come together to be unified, and Lord, that we stand strong and remember to keep you in everything we do. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please stand, face the flag, and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Here.
Esquire Lastly.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Williams. Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
All right, item 4 is approved minutes of the fiscal court meeting on October 24th, 2024. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any corrections? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 5 is approve the personnel changes for Warren County. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lastly. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 6, approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, at this time, we're going to, we've got a guest with us. Tad Pardue is here and would like to make a request to fiscal court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, members of the court. Appreciate you allowing me to be here today. What is on your agenda today is, I guess, a first reading of an ordinance relating to rezoning property. I'm here before you today pursuant to both statute and your own ordinance, requesting that you hold a hearing on the record to make a final decision on an application to rezone property. Just by way of a brief history, I represent the property owner. It is J.R.R. Hedge Street Trust, which is essentially a gentleman named Jeremy Riggs and his wife. This property that has been in Mrs. Riggs' family's name for a number of years. This rezoning case was a predecessor to it, I would say, was heard in July of this year. And after an evidentiary hearing and following a recommendation by the Planning Commission staff that this rezoning be approved, there were 2 motions made in July. One motion to approve. It failed by a vote of 2-2. Then a motion was made to approve the rezoning application, and it suffered the same fate. There was a 2-2 vote. Taking what we heard from the commissioners in July, we resubmitted our application and our development plan to the Planning Commission, and that came before the commission, and that is what is here before the court today. and that was a new version. What we did was we shrunk the overall size of the development. At the hearing in September, we agreed to reduce the density of the development, that is the number of potential lots, at the request of the commission. And again, following a recommendation by the Planning Commission staff that be approved, we suffered the same fate. There was a motion to deny the application. It didn't go forward. There was a 2-2 vote. Following that motion, there was a motion made to approve the rezoning, and the vote stayed along the same lines. It was 2-2. So we're here before you today. We do not have a recommendation by the Planning Commission, and my client, Mr. and Mrs. Riggs, are entitled under KRS 100.2111 to a hearing requesting that the final decision, in this case, it'll be the decision since we don't have a recommendation, the final decision on this rezoning case be made by you, Warren Fiscal Court, which thereby invokes the process in your ordinance, which I know gives you multiple options, but what we would like to request is simply a hearing on the record. That means the record that's already before the Planning Commission that was introduced back in September, with an opportunity to maybe make a brief argument to you all in support of the zoning map amendment or the rezoning application.
So you're asking today for for Fiscal Court to consider having a on the record hearing to decide about a map change on this property.
That's correct, Your Honor. And the record essentially consists of the hearing itself at the Planning Commission in September, and of course there were numerous documents and exhibits introduced at that hearing. And again, all I would like the opportunity to do at the hearing before this court is to make a brief argument, sort of summarizing the evidence as to why we believe the rezoning case should be approved.
Mm-hmm. And this case, technically it's right outside the city limits, is that correct?
That's correct.
But because it's that proximity, it's 4 Warren County appointees by this board to the planning and zoning, and the 1 appointee from Smiths Grove, so 5 people to vote on this?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And both times it went 2-2?
That's correct. On each of the 2 occasions that this was heard by the commission, there was 1 of the 5 eligible voting members absent. It wasn't the same commissioner each time, but 1 was absent, leaving only 4 available to vote, and process that started 6 or 7 months ago is still here, and we don't have a recommendation.
Mm-hmm. And I'll ask, what's the status of sewer to this? You're changing this for this development, but I assume this is dependent upon sewer to this development.
It all is, Your Honor. Sewer was a question that was raised, and if this court grants us a hearing, you'll hear the discussion that was held at the Planning Commission level about sewer. It is a condition if this rezoning case were approved, and I didn't mention this, but it's currently zoned agricultural. We're seeking to rezone it to single-family residential for a neighborhood. But it is a condition, and you'll hear this when you review the record, that development cannot commence until proper utilities and infrastructure are installed, and one of those items is sewer. And there's discussion before the commission about that issue as well.
When is the soonest that the sewer or whatnot would be going over to be utilized?
I don't know. So about 300 feet to the north of this property is, I think it's 30 acres that the Planning Commission rezoned back in the spring, perhaps May, for Warren County Public Schools to construct a new elementary school to replace North Warren Elementary. Again, that is north. As I understand it, the nearest sewer pump station is to the south, more toward the interstate. I don't know exactly what the school system's timeline is, but they have the exact same issue, and that is running utilities, including sewer. I don't know which might come first, were this rezoning case to be approved, whether it would be the neighborhood or the new elementary school. It's my understanding there may even be some developments south of what I'm speaking to, but north of the interstate that will also need sewer as well. So I can't speak to the timeline. I don't know, we may be in a situation where, an elementary school's being built and sewer's already extended to the elementary school, and then that solves the subdivisions problem.
But we're still looking at many months down the road. before that.
Probably, months, if not year or years.
Okay, gotcha.
Good question, though. Thank you.
And 2 and 2 each time, and we had one missing
That's correct.
commission.
Okay, so before the court is, you have a couple options on a hearing, whether this court will hear that. So I would happy to hear any recommendations from the court on that.
Well, Judge, I'd like to see a full body of the commission vote. So you got a 5-person actually vote on it. You could have a 3 to 2, not a 2 versus 2. I'd make a motion to remand it back to the city county planning commission for a decision on that passion on its face.
Okay, we have a motion by Squire Lawrence to remand this back
I'll
to the
second
city
it based
commission.
for discussion purposes. So second the motion.
Okay, we have a second by Squire Cummings to remand this back to the city county planning commission. Is there any discussion or other questions on that?
Yeah, if I could have Ben come up. I know we went through a bunch of changes earlier this year to, streamline the process for developments and so forth. And one of the things that was done is to push it back to you all, and I think this is probably wise in this choice, because we should get a recommendation from you all. And the fact that it was 2-2 and 2 different times, and we had one missing, I think that inherently on us, I'll speak for me, I would rather have a recommendation from the planning commission with what their vote would be before I would consider adhering, understanding that if neither party was happy with whatever decision the planning zoning commission, you could always come back to us, to review it or to look at it. But I agree with Tommy. I think this is a good motion to allow us to push it back to you all and let you all handle it, and then we deal with it later if we have to.
I'd really like to see a good effort made to make sure that all 5 of them show up for the next vote time, because I think
Well,
fair.
We try every time.
Yeah, Ben can only do so much. I do think that we have the obligation to appoint 4 members to the planning commission, which we have, and then all of our other cities do as well, and the city of Bowling Green has 4 as well. But what we've typically have done, this body still has the ability to make a decision on this, but we can make a decision on a decision that's been made. And I think that the issue that we're having heartburn over is that no decision has been made. And so now you're asking for this body to do what the planning commission's role is. And so I'm getting the sense that this fiscal court is not interested in entertaining that option. Happy to, because every developer, every person has the right then to appeal that decision to fiscal court, and we've had to do that in the past and make decisions. But this is the first time, and I've been here for 10 years, this is the first time in my tenure that we've ever had a item come here that no decision has been made. And I don't know, Ben, what your...
I think that's correct. Typically, those are withdrawn before this body would hear it.
Okay. Any other questions? So we have a motion and a second to remand this back to the City County Planning Commission for a decision on the application. If there's no other questions, clerk, please call a roll.
Esquire Aldridge,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all so much. All right. Resume our hearing back to item number 8. Let's make part of the record the sheriff's 2024 tax receipt for the 2024 property tax bills.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 9 is authorize Sheriff's Department to advertise for bids for 2 UTV side-by-side vehicles. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 10 is accept the first quarter financial report from the Hadley Volunteer Fire Department.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 11 is approve the 211 report for October 2024. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 12 is accept proposal from RES Kentucky LLC for Phase 1 and Phase 2 water quality improvement projects at Basil Griffin Park in the amount of $129,500. Phase 1 is part of the OSG grant, but will be paid entirely by stormwater. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 13 is approved determination amount of $9,440 to Hickey Steel for 3 roof access ladders. 2 will be installed in the back of Sugar Maple and 1 on the back of the P&Z building. Mounting will be done by Warren County Maintenance. 3 companies were contacted and only 1 responded. Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Of course, we are doing some renovation, especially at Sugar Maple, and we have to have these for future access to that building to make that more compatible with what we're doing. Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 14 is approved emergency determination, the amount of $3,237.56 to Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center for repair of the Browning Fire Department's tactical rescue boat that was damaged during a river rescue attempt. This is a single source vendor. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 15 is approve the updated Warren County Regional Jail Inmate Handbook. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 16 is approve the 63-month contract with Toshiba in the amount of $235.18 per month for the copier lease agreement for Warren County Treasurer's Office. This is NASPO contract price. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 17 is approve order 2435, appointing Airden Zukic to the Operation Pride Board of Directors. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a great young man who's a difference maker in the community, so that will be fantastic for us. Item 18 is approve first reading of ordinance 2435, establishing Lansing Drive, Duluth Drive, and Duluth Court located in Lansing Lane subdivision as county roads, and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 19 is approve first reading of ordinance 2436, establishing Bramham Lane, Bramham Circle, Indo Street, Norland Street, Stagner Lane, Harton Lane, Ovambo Street, Sussex Court, King Drive, and Dexter Street, located in Stagner Farms 1 and 2 subdivision, as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Item 20 is approved first reading of ordinance 2437, establishing Gunsmoke Trail Way, Rawhide Drive, and Laredo Drive, located in McKinney Farms 3C subdivision as county roads, and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. And as a matter of the record, I have a financial interest in McKinney Farms and have for since its inception.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, will the treasurer please report the claims?
General Fund, $2,858,995. Road Fund, $236,281. Jail Fund, $817,405. Stormwater Fund, $89,314. Grant Fund, $1,000. And Hotel Tax Fund, $132,068. Be happy to answer any questions.
Motion to pay the claims.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I want to welcome Mayor Stiffy from Smiths Grove. Happy to have you with us today. And I'm not going to mention everyone, but Debbie Ritchie is the Smiths Grove appointee to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Appreciate that. Monica, I'm not calling you out. But everyone else, we appreciate, we always appreciate everyone being here today, for sure. Sheriff Hightower,
Thank you, Judge.
you have a guest with you today?
Well, one of our recent graduates of the sheriff's, we had an event that for 2 weeks that we trained and went over kind of on the sheriff's office, a lot of the duties and responsibilities we have with the lifelong learners course at WKU.
Tracy Harder, a good friend of mine, has zero law enforcement. I don't care what the sheriff said. You are not allowed to pull people over, put lights on your car. 2 weeks is definitely not enough for me to be convinced that you're in charge of anything. But I love you and you do a great job, and really has been a fantastic friend for many, many years. Started long time ago at Holly, and a great friend. But thank you for your commitment, and thank you for attending that and going through that training. That's awesome. So we're always glad to have you and see your face here.
I'm going to recommend that Tracy is the sheriff of her household. That's great. I may lose a vote.
Bob agrees as well. You're not going to lose a vote. There'll be no discussion on that, but it's great. So it's good to have you here. I think Lynette is not with us. Jailer Harmon, thank you. Good to see you. Chris is out, I believe. That's good. Josh, everything good in your world? Nikki, come forward, young lady. She has all kinds of updates for us.
It's just one today. The ice rink is set up, is going well. We are opening on November 22nd, and there will be a ribbon cutting if you guys would like to attend. Can't remember if it's 3 or 4, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much it this time, just the ice rink, since it'll open before we meet next. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware and to come on down.
I'm hoping it's at 2. Maybe it's not. I have it on my calendar. I'll just go there early. Okay. But not sure. I'll be on time. I'll be waiting patiently for it to start, but I want to just look at something very quickly while we're here. Oh, Still gonna be in the 50s, that's good. So at some point, it'll get cold enough for us to have it, but we do have, it's a great thing that this court has been behind, and we're excited to have that again. So Nikki, thank you, and thank all the people that are working hard on that. It's a great family thing that this court has backed, and all of our people at Nikki's office, of course, everything, Parks and Rec, Public Works, everything comes together to pull it off, so it's great. Thank you so much. Holly? I mean, I am amazed that you're here in person. Not that we always want you to be, but thank you for making the long trek over here. It's good. So, Travis, Ronnie, and we've got some training going on with Travis here. All good. All right, Mr. Loving.
He's coming forth.
But the question that has been asked numerous times, our auction will be December 13th, finalizing, getting a few of the forfeited vehicles in there and ours, but we're going to have several cars, a little bit of equipment, December 13th, around 2 p.m. We're working that out with Joe Houchins, who I have to always mention. He's probably done 20 auctions for us over the years and never charges a thing, so you can't beat a free auctioneer. But that's all I have, Judge.
That would be fantastic. We always look forward to that too. If you could find someone illegally doing something in like a 63 Mako Shark or something, Corvette, I would appreciate the opportunity if it was there. I don't know if we could be that specific, but if there's a chance we could, a man can dream, but that's good. Ben?
Thank you, Judge. Fiscal Court, just want to mention again that November 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. we have our transportation plan. Simultaneous public meetings going on, one at Buchanan Park Tennis Facility, the other one at Barren River Area Development District Office. Again, that's November 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. It's open house style, so you just come in anytime during that time frame. And then anyone who wants to provide input on that transportation plan, just go to our website, warrenpc.org. There is a link at the top of our website. You can click on that, go fill out the survey. That'll help us develop the goals and objectives for the plan. And then there's an interactive map to where you can put any of your pain points or problems or compliments. So the transportation system on that map, and vote on what others have put on that map. And that's going to be our first round of public input for the process.
That's great. Thank you so much. I said, what I'm going to mention, I see Chief Pretty from Smiths Grove Fire Department in the back. He's hiding back there, but thank you for coming too. What Ben was talking about, it's a 25-year transportation plan, but it affects all of us, and it absolutely affects, I will just say this as a commentary. I know they're fully aware of it, but the citizens of Smiths Grove and the rest of the entire county, we have phenomenal pressure and phenomenal growth coming our way. And so thinking things are going to stay the exact same way they are today it's not an option. It's a nice thought, excuse me, but it's not an option. And so these are the type of things what Ben was talking about, going to these meetings. This is a 25-year transportation plan. It's informative, but it's also letting the public understand where they would like to see better transportation, the types of transportation, how they can transform the community, and how we can better do some long-term planning. So I always encourage you to pay attention to those things that are going on, so that your input can be noted, and also the valuable decisions can be made on that. Trying to make decisions without input is a tough thing to do, and so sometimes we get frustrated because we'll have a meeting and 7 people show up of a county of 142,000. And then you can imagine what happens after that when decisions are made. Then people are upset with some of those decisions, and yet they had the opportunity to go there. We see this, to be quite honest with you, most of the time on something that maybe is not controversial at planning and zoning, but becomes controversial because people say they didn't know about it. It is you're going to see many, many more discussions with people trying to make decisions, and the community needs to be involved in those discussions. So this is a great opportunity on that November 19th for people to go to those two meetings. You'll appreciate the style that they do. It's not putting anyone on the spot. Everyone has a vote. You can go in there and kind of decide where you'd like to see this, how this could make the county better. And so, Ben, thanks for all the hard work. We appreciate everyone trying to make those meetings for sure. All right, Mr. Markram. All right, Squire McWhirter.
You know, I'm glad this election's over like everyone else, but I've heard zero complaints about the way this election went off in Warren County, and I'd like to commend Lynette for the job she did. One more thing is, since the major citizens of Smiths Grove are here, we are working on Ed Spear Park, putting new fencing. We'll be putting some pickleball courts, redoing the tennis courts, and so we're happy to, it'll be in the spring before everything's finished, but be happy to have that done.
Yeah, it's going to make a big difference up there, so thank you for bringing it up. Squire Aldridge?
Thank you, Judge. Want to just remind everybody on Saturday, the 23rd at 5 p.m., the Richardsville Community Center will be having their Thanksgiving dinner and benefit auction. So hope you can make plans to join us there. Also want to thank the men and women of our volunteer fire departments for their outstanding service that they provide to the community. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Squire Cummings?
Long-winded as usual. First of all, I want to echo the compliments to Lynette Yates and her staff. They did an amazing job. We had high turnout, which was great, but it was an easy and a wonderful process. So congratulate to Lynette and her staff. I do want to mention we had somebody here in this room had a hole-in-one on a golf game here recently. Mr. Squire Rex McWhorter.
There's only one of us that plays golf, so I knew it had to be him.
It couldn't be me either. Anyway, so congrats to Rex on his hole-in-one. I know he's a little shy and doesn't like any recognition, but Eric Aldridge, my friend sitting next to me, had his birthday yesterday. I won't say how old he was, but it was his birthday yesterday, so I want to say belated happy birthday to Eric.
That's not fair to tell everyone who's 50.
Yeah. And we have one, our chief deputy has a birthday coming up Friday, so I want to first want to wish him a happy birthday for Friday. And he's much younger than Eric, so I'll leave it at that.
Could almost be Eric's son.
Well, no, he doesn't have boys but one. He do boys, he does girls. On a personal note, just remember my wife tomorrow morning. We go in tomorrow morning for her third surgery on her Achilles heel tomorrow. It's been a painful process, and just keep her in mind. We go in tomorrow morning to have that hopefully third and final surgery on her right Achilles. I know it wasn't perfect timing on scheduling this, but the Alvaton State of the District meeting is going to be held next Tuesday, the 19th, the same night that the Planning and Zoning doing their stuff, but ours doesn't start till 6, so you can go at 5 to those meetings, and then ours, State of the District meeting is at Alvaton Gym next Tuesday on the 19th from 6 to about 7:30. And then for those of you all in the room, probably should have gotten this as a reminder, invitation that the Realtor Association is having their annual legislative breakfast Monday morning, the what is that Monday, not this Monday, it's a week from Monday, the 25th, okay? For out the Realtors Association, for legislators to come out and have breakfast and interact with the Realtor Association of Southern Kentucky. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Squire Cummings. Squire Lawrence?
Oh, yes, Judge, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. We had a great Veterans Day parade and a flag raise down here, which is heartfelt, which is awesome, to be honest with you. And also, we had the Veterans Day, actually 11/11 over at the American Legion here just yesterday, and that was another fantastic program. I'd really also like to encourage the people to come out to the Planning Commission and give their opinions on things, because it's a little bit difficult whenever somebody's upset after the fact, you know, when they had an opportunity to weigh in on it. So just exercise your ability as a citizen and go into the planning commission.
Squire Lashley?
Just because I don't think you can say it enough, I'd like to thank certainly the clerk staff, but also all the poll workers, that it takes a pretty big event to pull off with all the locations and things like that, and they get up awfully early and stay awfully late. And without the poll workers, it would be impossible to pull that off on the early voting and the day of. And so thanks to them and everybody else, and happy birthday to our colleague across the way there.
And Judge, if I could throw one out, I guess when you get older, you just forget things. Embarrassingly, I failed to mention a community event that Sheriff Hightower and I will be having at the Hadley Community Center with Chief Justice allowing us to come. That is this Thursday on the 14th at 6:30. We'll be discussing things that are going on in the community.
Thank you.
As you get older, I guess.
Start making notes, Squire Aldridge.
Gotcha.
Treasurer?
Thank you, Judge. Feels good to be back.
That's good to have you back, and still continue prayers, buddy, but we're glad to have you back here. Ms. Chandler?
I just want to echo fantastic Veterans Parade, fantastic presentation by the VFW at the American Legion yesterday. Always a great day when you can celebrate veterans. Can't tell them enough. Thank you for your service. So thank you for your service. And a big thank you to Lynette and all the poll workers. They did a great job. So Warren County always leads the pack. So very proud.
Perfect, thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Downing?
Just want to say thank you to our veterans as well. It was a fantastic parade. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Speaking of that, I would like to thank Lacey, Joy, and Crystal for decorating the courthouse for Veterans Day. I hope you saw the red, white, and blue around there. You did a great job, and thank you for all that hard work. Again, a successful election, meaning we just carried it off successfully, I'm not talking politically. I want to thank again, mention those things there. I would like to say on the record, we have tried, this court has done all the things they can do for education purposes for people to understand where and when to vote. We have made efforts to make it easier for people to get to the polls, but I will tell you, we ran the trolley on a general election with right at 60% turnout. And we ran that trolley from 6 different locations so that if someone was not able to get to the polls, they could find a close place and ride that for free. And we had 14 citizens take advantage of that in a 9-hour day. And so I think we'll do a little soul searching on that. That was probably not as effective and so sometimes you do things correctly, sometimes maybe not. What I think in life is a great way to, you have to make decisions and do the best effort with our resources, et cetera. And so that was not something I would say was very successful and just based solely on the numbers. So I want to throw that out there. Squire Lawrence, thank you for your service to this country.
Yes.
Yeah, we always appreciate you so much. Prayers for Dacia tomorrow. Ron, that's a tough one. I've tore my Achilles 1 time, not 3, so that's not something I would do. I also want to congratulate Miss Chandler, who has served for 27 years on the CAECO Board of Directors. May just seem like it, but I assume Thursday night.
Last 2 rounds.
Are you finished? Okay, that's good. If you'd keep your speech to less than 40 minutes, we'd appreciate it. But really, it's been quite an honor for a year or 2 ago to Amy to be the president of CAECO for the entire state, and has served us well. But tomorrow, or Thursday night at the dinner, they'll pass that torch. But I appreciate her hard work on past president and moving on to whatever that sounds like next. Maybe you could run for NACO president or something like that. So be in charge of the whole country. Okay. Again, thanks everyone for coming today. We appreciate our next meeting, but that was regularly scheduled, correct? Because of Thanksgiving rest is the 22nd, right? Yeah. That's the date. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, it's November. I apologize. It's Tuesday, November 26th. So it'll be 2 weeks from today, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I would like to remind you I feel this in my heart, absolutely 100%. If you opened your eyes and woke up today in Warren County, Kentucky, you are blessed beyond belief, and I would hope you would take that air of thanksgiving to other people that you see. Thank you so much for coming. With that, we have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.